It's fabulous on a big screen TV.
Hey, LEG, was your sound up on your
Does that fella
TV at
got a
all?
cold?
No, I don't have anything on.
Okay. I'm hearing echo too.
Thanks for sharing, but that wasn't what I asked.
Okay, guys, I think we're going. I think we're ready to go. So we're going to be talking about a few things. Is Pamphlet there? I'm not sure Pamphlet is here. We got a couple mics that are still silenced right now.
Yeah, I did that just to keep background noise out. Is that cool, or would you rather we didn't do that?
I want to make sure that you have the ability to speak. So we're talking about censorship, so you know it's kind of funny that we have our little audio problems here.
I'm self-censoring.
Okay, so who's echoing? You guys think that I'm echoing right now?
No, after hearing that.
All right. Yes, we know that we're on QAnon. We are aware that we're on. We're just talking in a kind of a impromptu discussion because of the fact that we had all that drama with the subreddit thing. You know, it really pushed us into this business. So we're going to be bringing on the people.
Oh, they're horrendous. Oh, they're so bad. Oh, God. Oh, they're bad.
Turn off your Discord server, dude.
I did.
You're still getting echoes?
Oh, yeah.
It looks like the YouTube people are fine.
There we go. Yeah, we're good now.
Okay. Yeah, so
Awesome. Is that what you smoke?
I guess I can. You'll have to talk about sorts then.
Who's that?
Right now?
Yep.
Why is somebody
about
smoking?
Really just sat down and my phone's dead.
Yeah, who's
Oh, that's my charger.
That would be me.
yeah, so for those of you who don't know,
sideways.
that would be Pam and Mrs. Pam, i.e.
I
Radix.
have no idea which way
Or
the
Radix
screen is.
and Mr.
It's a little
Radix.
square to me. at the moment.
And we have somebody cowering in the corner there. That's because there's a little camera icon there that she's not turning off and she doesn't want to be seen.
Where's the camera icon?
There's a little looks like a camera. You can just click on the little camera, it turns it off.
It's right by the hang up button and the mute button.
So,
Oh, thank God.
This is so funny. They're going for screen.
Trust me.
It's hilarious.
My hat looks much better than I do right now.
say that again, sorry.
No more jammies, huh?
You're going from
Yeah.
screen to screen. It's hilarious watching this.
Yeah, I know there's one that looks like one of the scenes from Paranormal Activity.
Hey, LAG, you remember earlier we discussed headphones? I
in the corner.
think that might be where some of the echo is coming from right now. Are you using any?
I think that's their avatars.
I think they got rid of the echoes.
Yeah, I suppose that's just about turning off your Discord servers while you're in Hangouts. Currently, we're using Hangouts to discuss this stuff, and we're broadcasting to YouTube. So the irony here. But I mean, we were going to originally talk about, you know, just touching on the Discord. I mean, the subreddit, all these different platforms. Excuse me. But the drama that was started today because subreddit decided to get rid of it, or Reddit decided to get rid of our subreddit. So that's what got us on this train of thought. So, Radix, you there to talk about Reddit?
Yes, I think we're here. Are we coming through?
Yes, I hear you.
Awesome. Oh, way to go. You see, guys, she spent too much time putting makeup on and not enough time preparing for the show.
Not true.
You got it all up here, though.
It's just get out of my hair.
Rising?
Excuse me.
Oh shit, who keeps blowing my phone up?
Nice smell. You know, you're
Yes,
like.
I need a Mic check too. Is my mic coming in through?
I hear you loud and clear.
All right, good deal. My camera too, I guess. Cam.
There's no camera.
There's no camera.
You can turn your camera on if you'd like.
That option's turned on. I don't know why it's not not
Well,
on.
you can go into your settings there and probably change that.
I got it selected. It's only one HD webcam there. Let me change the bandwidth on it.
I wouldn't think that's the issue, but anyway, let's talk about Reddit. Let's get the skinny on Reddit. Just a real quick rundown, nothing too in depth, but you know, the basic story.
Okay.
Why don't you tell them about Aaron Swartz and how he started Reddit and all of everything about Aaron Swartz? Go on.
Oh wait, Aaron Swartz was one of 3 co-founders of Reddit. He's known as the 3rd co-founder. He was more of like a coder. He created RSS feeds. I guess he helped develop them. He was about free speech, and he started the campaign against SOPA and PIPA, right? And he ended up killing himself after a lengthy battle with the government. He worked for
Amber Alert.
Oh, how about that? Laura Silsby's calling you.
Lynn Robbie, age 3. Jordan Washington, age 2. Silver Chevy Malibu or Impala.
Anyway,
Amber Alert. Sorry.
Reddit was started in 2005, and it's changed a lot since then.
And all you got?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we're not going to be spending much time on Reddit. That's
You
not really
told
the
me
focus of
to
this. but-
focus more on the Internet Bill of Rights.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, I mean, I really kind of wanted to mention the subreddit ordeal just briefly because it sort of pertains to all this that's going on with the Internet Bill of Rights, obviously.
Well, and then we want to do a little history of like Reddit censorship. They heavily censored the R Bitcoin and Pizzagate.
Yeah, if you actually,
Donald.
I dropped a link to a Wikipedia article on controversial Reddit communities, one that I expect will actually probably be added to soon. It just runs through a list of banned subreddits and then controversial subreddits, and a lot of these are one major one is the Pizzagate subreddit, which was banned. Let's see. November 23rd, 2016, right in the middle of the whole was just post-election season.
All right,
wasn't it? No, a year before. Yeah.
Basically, Reddit was founded in 2005 by Steve Huffman and Alexis Ohanian, and it had contributors like Aaron Swartz. He was a teenager at the time, an anonymous teenager that contributed to a lot of their coding and everything. So in 2005, Reddit merged with Aaron Swartz's company, Infogami, and then they started building out and taking in funding, right? Seed funding. And in 2006, October 2006, Condé Nast acquired Reddit for less than $20 million. And they moved to San Francisco. And then in 2007, they fired Aaron Swartz. And then they decided to expand themselves more, and that's kind of when they started selling out.
They fired Aaron Swartz because he didn't really quite fit in with their SJW mentality. He was he was much more libertarian in his politics, I think, than a lot of these disgusting people are. Among whom is one Steve Huffman, also known as Spez, the now current CEO of Reddit, who is famous for having being a cannibal. A lot of people out there should get that joke. I'll see if I can find a quick article on that incident. It's really interesting. But on top of that, also famous for having gone into the Donald subreddit, which is now, I believe, the largest subreddit on Reddit. This is like right in the middle of the election season. He went on there and edited users' posts that were making fun of him, saying "F you, Spez" and all sorts of funny stuff. Yeah, so he went on there and actually edited these posts, but The thing is, when you when a user goes on to Reddit and edits their post, it'll show up saying you know, so and so edited their post at such and such a time. However, when an admin goes on there and edits a post in the way that Mr. Huffman did, it doesn't show that. It doesn't show that the post was edited. It just looks like your average everyday post. So an admin like Spez could go on there and edit somebody's post to include incriminating information like links to child porn, incriminating them on, you know, confessing to murders, all sorts of really messed up stuff. I mean, the implications for privacy and rights on the internet there were massive, and he had to backpedal and apologize for his actions very shortly after. I actually have a link to an article here going through that from The Verge. Let me quickly read through this just a little bit up at the top here. Reddit CEO Steve Huffman today admitted that he had edited Reddit user comments that criticized and insulted him, wielding his power to anonymously change references to his own username and replace them with the moderators of the Donald Trump subreddit r/the_Donald. Huffman, who posts on the site as Spez, admitted to the transgression after being called out by users of the Donald. Did he really think that wasn't going to happen? Like, wow. Saying he was inspired to edit the comments after a spate of insults emanating from the pro-Trump subreddit. I messed with the FU Spez comments, replacing Spez with r/the_Donald mods for about an hour. Huffman said, and that's all that's what we know about. That's what we know about.
For an entire hour. What a
Yep.
loser.
This guy spent an hour of his life sitting there editing these people's comments to replace his own name with the names of mods of the Donald. Pretty absurd. So beyond that, which was a massive deal, there's obviously the banning of the Pizzagate subreddit, among many others. The deepfakes subreddit, by the way, which we actually discussed some time ago in relation to the Hillary Clinton video that is expected to come out at some point soon.
The Bitcoin one was messed with a lot.
Was it?
Yeah, the Bitcoin Reddit. Yeah,
Was it banned?
No, but they kept censoring it and they kept editing it and changing it.
Wow.
And it was a big deal. That was a huge deal.
Some of the other interesting subreddits that have been banned are r/incels, involuntary celibates. r/incels members are often often express misogynistic views and blamed women for their lack of romantic success. That's who they ban. Like,
who's still here at the moment?
Women.
Oh, and then the r/physical removal Reddit, which was inspired by a quote from a right-wing anarchist philosopher, Hans Hermann Hoppe, I don't know how to pronounce that, who wrote, "There can be no tolerance towards Democrats and commies in a libertarian social order. They will have to be physically separated and removed from society." Damn right, remove commies. Then there's the Pizzagate subreddit. Here's my favorite, the Fat People Hate subreddit. That's a good one.
Oh, the fat people hate.
That was an interesting.
The fat shaming. Fat shaming works though, you guys.
Very funny.
I ask to be fat shamed all the time.
You were never fat.
But that's why, because I've been fat shamed into not being.
Oh, and then the fappening. Does anybody remember the fappening?
The fappening.
For those just briefly who don't know what the fappening is, the fappening was in an ordeal where a massive number of naked pictures were hacked off of celebrities' phones and posted all over the internet, and it became known as the fappening. That one was banned. That's a bad one. The r/beating women subreddit, that deserved it. That deserved being banned. Pictures, graphic depictions of violence against women. That's who we're getting lumped in with, by the way.
No, exactly. I mean, but they don't ban the cannibalism one. They don't ban the communist and Occupy ones that were calling for riots in the streets and, go marauding through the gated communities, right?
Yep. There were a number of other interesting subreddits that were allowed to go on existing. Let me... Just a minute here, I'll get you some of them. I believe they were, r/jailbait although that might be banned now. I'm not sure.
But the pedophile ones aren't.
Right.
The pro-pedophilia ones are not banned.
There are tons of private communities on Reddit.
The ones aren't. Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the commie, all the leftist subreddits are still out there and so,
they
literally
were, like,
inciting
actually
violence.
In the streets fighting people.
Let's see. Give me just a second. I got to find this article. One was r/jailbait, and then God, what was the other? There was there's obviously the cannibal subreddit where Spez famously posted. I have got to find that story.
But he ate human flesh with barbecue sauce on it, or something
like that,
disgusting like that.
Yep. Where did I put that? Okay, here we go. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There we are. All right. Gizmodo article, Reddit is tearing itself apart. I think this is where it was. Although I might be wrong. Nope. I don't know where I found that. I thought I linked it, but I guess not. Anyway, the point is we're getting banned from this place while subreddits like the jailbait subreddit were allowed to exist for God knows how long. I mean, I'm sure some of you out there in live chat, actually, if I give me a minute, I'll take a look there. We'll know some of the other rather disgusting subreddits that are out there continuing to exist. Oh, that was the other one. What is it? Pics of dead kids. r/pics of dead kids. Yeah, pictures of dead children. Yep. And they actually have the nerve to say that that Reddit's free speech policies are such that they have to deal with the they have to deal with stomaching subreddits like r/dead kid pics and r/jailbait. Meanwhile, they ban us.
Right.
Sickening. It's sickening. And of course, they go on to claim that.
But pamphlet, it's because you're a meaning.
Yeah, well, yeah, they go on to claim that their removals of subreddits like ours have absolutely nothing to do with us being controversial and posting controversial content, but more to do with us breaking the rules. And on that note, I'll tell you exactly what happened here. And I mean, Reddit is famous for operating like this. They allow subreddits like Top Minds of Reddit to go on existing, and Top Minds of Reddit is famous for organizing large mass-scale brigades on subreddits that they don't approve of, such as the Donald and our subreddit. We were all over Top Minds of Reddit all the time. And basically what they like to do is go on to subreddits, post content that breaks Reddit's site-wide rules, and then report their own posts, posting this content that breaks the rules in order to get the subreddit banned. So after we got banned, if you go onto Reddit and look at some of these subreddits like Top Minds of Reddit, and there's another one called FUCK, the alt-right. All of these losers are out there claiming credit for getting us banned. It's all over the place right now, all over Reddit. And it's just pathetic. I said earlier today, right after this happened, that I had basically planned this out since day one. I knew this was coming. I knew it was going to happen. I knew from the moment. I mean, even before I created this place with Tracy Beans, that they would end up doing this, and I didn't think it was going to take this long, but they got there in the end, and they banned us. So the plan, obviously, is to take it and turn it against them, as we should. I mean, this is disgusting behavior. We knew it was going to happen, and now we have a great opportunity to take it and use it against them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So,
hey, on that one point right there, I do have to. There's some echo. Can you use your headphones or something? Anyway, the circling of the wagon thing. you know, we got to push Gab because Gab's a free speech platform, and they're going to work for us to make sure that we have what we need. And that's a free speech platform. That's where everybody can make sure that they're not go place where they're not going to be shadow banned, where we can all talk to each other. So get on Gab, and hopefully we can start a petition or something like that. Dr. Corsi was even working with it today about, you know, trying to get the president on Gab. That would be really what we need most.
That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. That'd definitely be a step in the right direction.
Yep. Indeed. So did you say you were hearing echo from our end, by the way?
Yeah, when I was talking, I could hear myself through your speakers, I think.
Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, awesome. So on that note, after discussing Reddit and what happened with them and them banning us.
2.2 million contributors, right, on that subreddit.
No. It was we had roughly between 20 and 25,000 subscribers. Actually, roughly about the same that the Pizzagate subreddit had when it got removed. We were huge. We had almost constantly. There were roughly 2,000 users on there at any given time. Sometimes upwards of 3,000. Some points it actually got way above that. We were a pretty big subreddit, especially for having such a small subscriber number. Which, by the way, there have been suspicions about Reddit fudging with subscriber numbers. The Donald is one of the major proponents of that theory, and they have a fair amount of proof on it, from what I remember. I didn't really talk about what they've done with the Donald. Yeah, they've other than Spez editing comments on there. Beyond that, they specifically changed the algorithms on Reddit to prevent the Donald's threads from getting onto the front page of Reddit. They messed with the upvoting and downvoting algorithms in order to essentially prevent pro-Trump posts from reaching the front page, and to make sure that, you know, anti-Trump posts and pro-Hillary posts would get up there instead.
Right, that's right.
Yep. That was a huge deal during the election season.
They physically took it off the front of the R All page. They took the Donald subreddit off so it wouldn't be on the front page of it.
Yep.
So it wouldn't be at the top. They removed it. So it wouldn't be like trending on Reddit.
Hey Pam, so I have to ask, is there an appeals process to all this that we're entitled to?
So that's the other thing. There was no warning. There's no redress for this. Like there's no real way to address what happened and possibly try to get it back, except doing it in a public way, like with what we're doing now. It's the same thing that happened with YouTube. There's no warning. They literally just take your channel down. There's no way to appeal it.
So they can just say you're the alt-right and that's that, and you're done.
Yeah.
Well, what the reason that they gave was, in fact, I'll give you exactly what they say in just a moment. If you try to go to our subreddit, this is the page you get here. It reads, "This community has been banned. This subreddit was banned due to a violation of our content policy, specifically the prohibition of content that encourages or incites violence and the posting of personal and confidential information on deep state losers and cucks and criminals." Right? Disgusting. Yeah. Totally sick.
Well, also, there's been issues in the past with sock puppet accounts being utilized to attack specific subreddits, right? This has happened before. And Aaron Swartz talked about how when Condé Nast took over, they installed spyware on everybody's computer and that they had to use company emails and everything. That's why he was fired. Yep. One of the reasons, among many.
Yeah. Yep. So there's Reddit in a nutshell, y'all. That's what they do. That's what they're about.
That's what they've become.
They claim to be about free speech. They were at one point.
They used to be really very libertarian, open source.
I have to
Not
say,
after their founder, Aaron Swartz, kicked the bucket.
The people in the chat here, I have to represent the people in the chat because everybody's excited to see us. This is the first time they see the face.
Yeah.
That stuff. Yeah. So I want to take the time to acknowledge, Pamphlet and Rat are in there. That you guys are all loving those guys, and of course you will. But I am Brainstorm. Yes, I'm the spooky guy in the dark. And we have a couple of other guests with us tonight.
He's the production and engineering guy, y'all. I'm Pamphlet. Hello. You all finally get to see my face. It's been forever. How long have y'all been waiting?
So we got a couple other guys that we want to introduce you tonight too. And that's going to be some people that have been working on this Internet Bill of Rights business. And we're going to start talking to them and seeing what kinds of issues they've been facing as they've been trying to develop this in a process. And it's nothing that we've got nailed down permanently yet. We don't have the final draft established and formulated yet, but we are making some very heavy progress right now.
This is way
We've
better.
got some guys here to talk about that stuff.
Freebird says that we look nothing like he thought we would look like in his head. So what was I supposed to look like? And what was Brain supposed to look like?
Yeah, what was I supposed to look like?
Yeah, what about her?
Okay, so who are we introducing first? How about lag? Because that's a hat sitting on a chair or something. I want to know what that's about. What's that icon there? The leg's a hat on a chair. Leg on red.
Yep. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Well, that's my cowgirl hat, and if you look closely, it's my "Make America Great" button on it.
Yeah, it's very small. You can kind of see it.
You can kind of see it. Yeah. It's my inspiration hat.
Gina Cross says, I thought Pam would have long hair. You should have seen me a couple weeks ago. Ask Brainstorm.
Not even. It was like a week and a half ago. Yeah, it was like.
Felt like this.
He was kind of looking like this.
Brainstorm would be bald too. What's up with that?
Bald?
Yeah, somebody said.
I have a high forehead. I guess I have a high
I
forehead.
thought the same thing.
That's so funny. Isn't it interesting, like, when we hear people's voices, how we sort of have this picture of them in our heads, and then when we actually meet them, it's nothing like what we thought. I totally thought Brain would look completely different than he does.
So I actually don't know a lot of these guys, this group, the Internet Bill of Rights. I have not spent a lot of time in that server, I have to confess. So you guys are going to have to kind of introduce yourselves, because I don't really know you that well.
Good deal. Well,
I just realized I can't. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say Crop Duster here. I've been a part of the CBTS team since the beginning of October, right after the Vegas shootings. That pretty much led me to sit on the edge of my seat and wait for another YouTube to come. Got tired of waiting, so I found the Discord and got involved.
I'm getting some people saying this is Pam the hottie. She is. Thank you.
What about Mr. Radix? You guys like Mr. Radix?
Mr. Radix? I've never heard that one. It's always been Mr. Pam and Mrs. Pam.
No, when I've been on there, people have said that, and I
Really?
like that. I thought that was cute.
Okay.
Okay, so Crop Duster and Lag RN. Who else is in this new IBOR crew? People that have been working right behind the scenes.
Hey, this is Jeremy. I'm also known as HimTex over on the IBOR servers and CBTS servers, and I've joined to help out in every capacity that I can find possible, and I'm sure you guys can find possible out there. And I've really enjoyed the IBOR part of it, because it's been very interesting and something that I think I hope a lot of people are going to be pleased with by the time we get done.
By the way, y'all, I just realized I forgot coffee in the coffee maker upstairs. We're on Coffee and Freedom, so that we can't have that. So I'll be right back. I'm going to leave it to her. I'm going to go get our coffee.
We got, I'm trying to keep this name straight. We got Lag RN, Crop Duster, and Himlet. One more. Is that right?
HimTex.
Yeah.
HimTex. Okay, you guys keep me straight on this. I'm bad with names.
Just say RN for mine. It'll be easy.
Okay.
Yeah, she's our nurse.
Aren't we missing one yet? I thought we were.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, you got it, no doubt. Now I've totally lost my train of thought. Thanks.
Well, here's the thing about that. I mean, are we really going to post the Internet Bill of Rights? It's not really complete in form yet, is it? I mean, do we want to talk about what's been developed? Or I was actually wanting to know about the difficulties they've faced so far in having to try to organize that stuff. Like what things how has it been difficult in developing just the group and coming to the point where you try to center on the key issues. I mean, what has the process been like?
I think the hardest part was getting everybody to understand what we were actually attempting to do. But once we got past that, we got on a roll.
Yep. I was amazed, totally amazed by how fast you guys moved along. I didn't think it was going to be that quickly. I mean, I basically, folks, all I did, I came up with the idea for this Discord and using it to have, you know, thousands of you all come together and actually literally write an Internet Bill of Rights for us to push out and get out to our legislators and demand that it be passed. I came up with the idea, I made the Discord and invited people in and just let it go. And they did an incredible job. Like I was shocked at how quickly things came together and just totally amazed, and I couldn't be more pleased with how things turned out. So that's my part of the story. The rest I will leave to Lag RN and Crop Duster and any of the others who were actually involved in literally making the document, putting it together, hashing the whole process out.
So I just want to add to that, Pam. Being a mod there, once the server was created, I had walked in there several times, and it was just so inspiring to see nonstop dedication and focus. I mean, they stayed on topic for unbelievable. I mean, day in, day out for at least 4 or 5 days straight. And it was just a beautiful thing to see the people's passion. And you never realize how much we have built up in us, especially when we're getting censored the way that we are. And the way they converted those feelings into words and then crossed it with facts and it just kept a level mind, and the whole process was just great to watch.
Yep. I'm obviously super busy, like working 20-hour days, pulling all the stuff together with Coffee and Freedom and all the related shows that we have coming down the pipe. So all I was really able to do was just devote that time to creating the server, and all I really did after that was poke in a few times here and there. But the few times I was in there, man, hopping into the voice chats and watching the text channels in there, it was really truly inspiring, as you said. It was amazing.
And it was, and then to watch them literally in a 24-hour period, there was 2 forums, 2 pages, and I mean 2 complete pages, and they managed to consolidate that into 1 page and did it professionally with the just a respectful, it was just, I don't even have words for it.
Phenomenal.
It was,
incredible.
Amazing.
Yep. Yeah, to those of you out there in the audience who are a part of that whole process and are in that server and participated, you should, all of you, give yourselves a pat on the back because it was amazing. Like I said, exceeded my wildest expectations for how that was going to go. I thought it was going to be somewhere on the order of weeks until we had a working rough draft, which we now have. And it's just incredible. Just incredible. I can't really say much more than that.
We had a really diverse group of people, and so it was really interesting, and it was really good conversation, good healthy debate.
I would agree with that. And you know, the amazing part of it was with that diversity, everybody brought a passion, a different perspective, a different set of needs that they felt like needed to be there to be addressed, that they felt like was a right. And what we kind of did was looked at all that and said, okay, if we're going to do this, how did the framers do it? You know, how did they address each of these issues?
Right.
And, you know, we kind of built it off of that and said, okay, let's go with words that are, you know, obviously legal, but encapsulating of the issue. And then from there, legislation, anything beyond that will have to be drafted around all of that. And you'd be amazed how these people were able to grasp that concept then and run with it. It was amazing.
I see Deborah WM in live chat asking, is it based on the original Bill of Rights? And one of the few things that I did at the very beginning was go in there and just make a few suggestions with things. I think I dropped a couple images that came from the chans from an anon there that had some suggestions, and then I believe there was a Q post responding to an anon that had some great suggestions. One of the things that I suggested they do was actually go look at the process by which the founders went through the Bill of Rights and how they put that together and what that process was like, and actually look at the Bill of Rights itself and how they put that together. And I mean, clearly, if you look at the Internet Bill of Rights draft that they put together, you can see that sort of spirit in it. You can see they actually did that and went through that process and used that as a basis for this. So yeah, they did. They based it on the original Bill of Rights, definitely. And it was God, I don't know what else to say other than it's just like incredible. It's just so amazing. Had something else I was going to mention, but it'll come to me in a minute. Yeah, hate that.
You know, something that on during this whole process that I kept reminding myself of, and I would always mention to others there, was it took 136 days for the founding fathers to create the Constitution. And I don't know why that was important to me to remember, but 136 days. And could you imagine just the founding fathers sitting in a room and writing up the Constitution? And I mean, that's just a miracle that happened and that we have that to stand on. That's what we're all in this fight for, is for that Constitution. So in my eyes, having this Bill of Rights is just something that was needed because technology is just expanded beyond what I had ever imagined, and I think a lot of other people have ever imagined as well. So it's only fitting to have something to stand behind and enforce our rights and what the people want.
And, you know, Crop Duster, with that said, we actually also had to think about that, the forward thinking part. What is technology going to look like in the next 50, 100 years, 150 years? And we're still working on that. We're by no means done, but that's just, you know, another part of the process that I didn't even realize coming in that we had to weigh into the equation.
Oh man, there is so much to think about this, especially when it comes to technology in the future. Like what starts happening when you know, cybernetics and the like start coming into being, and you know, integrating technology literally with the human body and all the privacy rights or privacy issues that come with that. There is just so much to consider, and obviously the founding fathers had to go through this same sort of process, thinking about where things would go, and you know, hundreds of years into the future, and how to actually adjust and compensate for that, and make sure that people's rights were protected hundreds of years down the line. I think they did a fantastic job, but they obviously never could have ever expected something like the internet and what we see now. They certainly did the best with the information they had at the time, and now it's up to us to continue in their spirit and go through the same process as we've been doing here, and just keep going. Yeah, Celia Pretty says it's history starting all over. It's exactly what it is.
And in my industry, technology is kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, we all like the convenience. We love our technology, but it's a double-edged sword. It can work against you just as easily, you know, and we got to keep that in mind. And, you know, I just want to remind people that even though right now we feel a little bit threatened by the censorship, and it's gone rogue. It's way beyond it. Everybody realizes that, but let's not forget that technology is the reason why we have half a chance in this battle today. If it was, and that's their downfall. That's, you know, technology is, and the internet is going to be the knife in you know, that's going to be the end of it. We just need to do our part and stay on track. And I think this Bill of Rights is going to be, I think it's going to be great.
Yep. Oh, by the way, I see Brainstorm commented on this. Where is it? K-Bird says, I keep waiting for Pam to start singing We Are the Champions. Tell you what, I'm going to make you all a promise right now. If we reach 100,000 subscribers, I will sing We Are the Champions live on air. How about that?
I'm going to hold you to it. Good.
Do it. I don't have a
You have to wear some leather spandex or something like that while you do it, though. Or, you know. You got to put on the skinny jeans when you're doing that.
Yep. I'll dance around stage like Freddie did, but I'll
top hat and a cane, maybe. How about that?
Yeah, I'll do my best to sing it.
I don't know if I want him to win the bet. If that's the case, then I'm kidding, Pam.
Unfortunately, I can't bang it out right now because people are sleeping upstairs, and I'd probably get pretty loud. But you know,
the baby.
Yeah. But 100,000 folks, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Hey, so nurse, why don't we kind of get into I guess maybe we kind of explained the mindset behind this in you know, maybe we can get into the actual writing of it. You know, I pretty much witnessed when we were doing it, there's hundreds of people involved. And basically, when people were on, certain people would volunteer, and there was never a shortage of volunteers. They would volunteer to take notes and keep record of all this. And then they would compile those together and just update it and update it and update it and keep updating it. I was real impressed with that. But I don't know, nurse, maybe we can start and just kind of break down what got us to where we are tonight, I guess.
Well, what we did after a while, once we started the project, we needed to kind of all get on the same sheet of music. So we went around and we asked everybody to tell us what things about the internet bothered them, about the technology, what issues did they see, what experiences did they have. And out of that, we made a huge list. And then once we got that list, we started categorizing them into different areas. And as it turns out, there was a privacy, the freedom of speech areas, the security of their data. We had 5 or 6 categories, and what we found was that we were able to put everything that we had on that list into 5 or 6 categories, and we plugged it in, and then we started writing it out. And so it was quite an experience, because you have a lot of different people, but it was really fun. It was a fun experience. It was tiring. I'll say that, but it was fun. And I think we got a good product that I think we're proud of, and we're still working on it. But I think this is a great start. And I think it's a document that actually can, when we get it worked out, can withstand the test of time, because that's clearly what we want to do. We don't want to do it now and in 10 years it not be any good. We want it to stand up like the Bill of Rights does. So.
Yep.
Yeah, and we have to keep in mind this does need to still be looked over by legal professionals and stuff like that. And we're anticipating, once this kind of gets out and circulated, that there's going to be some volunteers on that. Hopefully that could help us, and just we're only human. We got it pretty close, but any help is welcome on that. And everybody's opinion. This is for we the people, not just us here today or anything. This is for all of us. So any feedback on it would really be nice too.
And if I could just add that a lot of us even didn't realize how much some of our rights were being infringed upon until we got into this. I mean, we knew that our data had been compromised in the past. We knew that we had been silenced on Twitter and Facebook and Reddit now. And so our freedom of speech was being infringed on. But there were a lot of things we didn't realize until we started talking about it, that where our rights had been infringed.
And that whole process of just, no matter what, nobody could take that away from us, because what we learned about where we are at this age with technology and our rights and stuff was just a huge gain, just to have that conversation to begin with. And if it continues the way that I believe it will, everybody's going to gain from it.
Yep. I just want to say, by the way, that this whole concept that we came up with using Discord the way we have, it sort of evolved over time after, I joined the Discord, the very early Discords that discussed QAnon very, very early on in the whole phenomenon, and made my way through a number of different servers, and sort of learned the platform, and eventually came to the current Discord where we do the 24/7 stream out of on We the People. I got to learn a lot about how to make use of Discord for our purposes. Discord is designed essentially for gamers, right? It's a gaming oriented chat and like voice and text chat application, but we've sort of repurposed it and turned it into something that we can use for our purposes, for research, for coordinating on social media campaigns, for all manner of different things, for running our streams out of. We do the stream.
I have a question from chat, if you don't mind.
What's that?
We have a question from chat. Somebody's asking if the
sure.
IBOR will deal with demonetization. I have my own question after that.
Oh, okay. Well, wait. What was it?
Demonetization. Will IBOR deal with demonetization? I assume that means with like YouTube making conservatives like not have any ability to make money or something.
I would
like
imagine
that.
so.
Yes.
If it does not right now, then it certainly should. That's a huge issue.
Yes, I would say that would come under the right to free speech. I mean, they're demonetizing people because they're trying to silence them, right?
Yeah, and demoralize them.
And so, yeah, they have under this. There's the right to free speech, and even regardless of who you affiliate with or what groups you belong to.
Well, and to add on to I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, to add on to that piece of it, yeah, we talked about absolutely not being censored, but we also talked about it in a different aspect from the point of view that, we found out through Project Veritas recently that they admittedly go in and they curate the results that can be seen. Well, if you're a person that creates videos or any kind of intellectual property for that matter, and they are, going against you for whatever your belief system is, and then they curate against you because they don't like whatever your views are, then even if they don't demonetize you from the point of view of doing what they're doing now and killing channels and the other things that they've been doing, they could demonetize you essentially by not allowing people to readily see you in search results, by bumping you way down the list and using algorithms and manipulating data against you.
Well, just like with Google, when you go on Google, they have their algorithms that we had the two candidates, right? And so everything about one candidate would come up all trash, and everything about the other one would come up all roses, and which we all know that clearly isn't the case. So they were tweaking the algorithms. So we have it built into the Bill of Rights that they cannot manipulate and do that kind of organized propaganda, and unknowingly exposing us to it.
That actually brings up another issue, which I think has been addressed, at least in some circles. I don't know if you guys specifically addressed it, but related to the IBOR is, do we have a case for a class action lawsuit?
Yeah.
For all the
I
censorship?
would say so.
Ask her.
I just started looking into going back to the earlier Q posts and looking at the Q phrases and keywords he uses and what he capitalizes, and using that as like a Boolean search terms in WikiLeaks, and going through what's in Vault 7 and Vault 8. And I think that's what building the map is about, a class action lawsuit. I think they're giving us everything we need for that.
Wow.
And I agree with that. Yeah. And it seems to me that Trump is setting the path towards that. If we watch what he does with libel laws right now, he's pretty much telling us that we have those rights. When people, for instance, I believe it was CNN, had went out and made a pretty much fake news. They lied, but it actually cost people on their 401ks. And Trump went out there and defended the people and said, hey, if I were you, I would get a class action lawsuit. I don't know what has come of that, but he put it out there for the people. He said, look, you do have some rights. So we got to watch what Trump does with the libel laws and which way he directs us. And I'm confident that they will be leading us through this path that we're taking. And I also wanted to add on censorship. One form of censorship, in my mind, the way to best define it is to treat one side different than you do the opposing side in a conversation or in anything that's being discussed. If you're going to take one side and treat them with a different set of rules than the other side, that's censorship. So, and I'm sure there's many different forms of it, but I think that's the big one today.
Yep. That's the kind of stuff that has to be taken into account with the Internet Bill of Rights. There's more than one way of censoring someone. There's ways of, I mean, directly doing it and then indirectly. I mean, like, obviously what happened to us on Reddit today, with us getting literally banned and removed from Reddit, is the more direct manner, but there's also the more indirect manner, such as the way the Donald subreddit was targeted by Reddit in their editing of modification of algorithms in order to prevent them from reaching the front page. It's more indirect, obviously, because the subreddit still exists, but in order to they're preventing it from reaching a wider audience. And at the same time, they're boosting up other subreddits who if the algorithms worked like they should have from the start and were fair, would never have reached the front page. Obviously, the ones that go into anti-Trump and pro-Hillary and all that stuff, and it's the same sort of thing. That's still censorship in my eyes.
And there's economic discrimination as well. How they went after WikiLeaks through PayPal to censor them that way, right?
Wouldn't it be something if we got a POTUS to sign up on Gab? I'm telling you, we mentioned that earlier, and I just think back to it every time.
Yep.
I would so love seeing the Donald on Gab. It would be the best thing that would mean so much for free speech right there.
Absolutely.
Getting Gab as a platform noticed, and the reason, then people have to start asking the question, why is this very relatively small platform getting the attention of the president? Well, because they're shadow banning him on Twitter. And Gab is a free speech platform. That would be a huge thing to help the discussion progress.
Yep.
And for people who don't know, that's going to fall into your antitrust laws. And if you watch what Trump's doing right now, he's putting members of his cabinet, or he's putting four, I believe it was four that he just appointed for the WTF, the World Trade Commission, WTC, sorry about that. And so he's filling those seats and he's getting the right people in there, and he's making a move. And I believe there was a warning by, it was his as a campaign manager that's going to be coming up for the 2020 election. Pretty much went out there and told these tech giants, you're on our radar, and if you don't respond and stop censoring, there's going to be some action taken against them. So that's the way I see it right now.
Scott Nielsen in live chat is saying Gab is not iPhone friendly. You got it the wrong way around, man. The iPhone is not Gab friendly.
Right. That's the big key.
Apple removed Gab's application from the App Store.
And all you have to do to circumvent that, though, is, I mean, you can use Gab via your web browser. So if you're on your phone, you have an iPhone, all you have to do is put it on your web browser, and you can save that link. You can put a bookmark and save it to your little desktop thing on your iPhone. And so you just push one button and you're straight to the platform.
Yep.
Simple workaround.
And by the way, Gab, folks, Gab has been really, really working hard to improve their video platform, and they've actually made some very, very significant improvements over the past few days.
Yeah, the past week, man. Oh my God, they've progressed so much. They're really working hard.
Better than YouTube, in my opinion, for the video end of things.
Yeah, really high quality video right now. I mean, it's glitchy to be sure, but it's like they're really pushing hard, and they've got more to come in the next month. They've really put in a lot of concentration on their TV format, which is good for us.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple conversations with Andrew Torba of Gab, and he's been incredibly helpful to us and Dr. Corsi with getting us over on their platform, and he's very receptive to input on how to improve the video and live streaming end of things. He's great. He's been fantastic.
It's just that, like, the stuff that we're trying to do and the stuff that Gab is doing, I mean, they just go hand in hand. I mean, they work together. It's a natural fit.
That's right.
Hey, did anybody else lose Brain's video feed?
People in live chat are saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's completely blacked out.
That's just because my camera battery went dead. I'll change it. Just a
Oh
second.
no.
Yeah, and I gotta apologize. I said World Trade Commission. It's late at night here. It's a Federal Trade Commission, so I just want to make sure that I corrected that.
You globalist. You were trying to sneak that in.
Man, I caught myself. I'm thinking of too big of a picture here, I guess. But yeah, Brian, you went dark on us.
I see Moen on in there saying a good idea for a show is to explain to people how the Senate works, how bills become law, and a lot of that sort of stuff. She says I think a lot of people don't understand committees and stuff.
Nope,
Yep.
they don't.
Right. So yeah, I that's actually a great idea, and I think we talked about doing something similar on here, like once a week, something like that.
Like a legal show.
Yep. So that's it. We will be working on that. I can't give you any sort of time frame for when that can happen, but we're gonna do something like that, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I started talking today with Thumper earlier about common law versus maritime admiralty law, and a bunch of people like dropped their crap all over the floor. People were freaking out.
Yep.
And yeah, okay. So maybe we will do that, and we'll just like slowly start talking about this stuff.
I see people saying, mentioning Schoolhouse Rock in live chat. That brings back memories. Wow. Yep. Good. I see some people saying that they would love the legal show. So there you go, babe. It's all you. She's a legal guys. She's been a paralegal since she was roughly 17. So it's right up her alley.
Can you get her to sing the "I'm Just a Bill" song for us?
Oh, how's that go again? How's that go?
I'm just a bill. I'm only a bill.
That's
living
right.
up on Capitol Hill.
Sitting on the sitting on the steps of Capitol Hill. That's right.
You know, since this is probably the first time that people have seen us in a while, especially like with the whole video presence and stuff, we could probably discuss a few of the other show ideas, you know, that we have planned for this channel.
Why not? I'm down to hang out for a while, y'all. I don't know about the rest of us.
Just chill. We're just hanging out.
Yep. Pretty cool. You all actually finally get to like see me and Mrs. Pam, or Mrs. Pam and Mr. Radix? I don't even know. Yeah. Yep. But you finally get to see us. Put face to a name. Well, not really a name. Pseudonym.
Yeah.
Pseudonym.
I don't know. I kind of pictured you guys like that. I kind of pictured you that way.
You did?
I did.
Oh, good. Is that a good thing?
And the holding hands thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, they're so squishy. Oh my god, they're squishy.
Oh, you should see us when we're not on air. Oh yeah.
No, I don't want to.
Lovey-dovey.
So much PDA, it's crazy. I know.
I did expect Pam to have longer hair though.
I did.
Yeah,
I had a total white boy fro.
I did.
Yep. Yeah.
So let's talk about some shows. What do we got coming down the pipe? You know, in chat, we got PC. PC's out there in our chat right now. And she's kind of, you know, I don't know what she's doing exactly in there. But
Why don't we get her in here to talk about the show with her, Andy Wars, and my wife?
Our tinfoil hat thing.
Yeah. Okay, just a minute. Let me figure out where the link is to this thing.
While we're doing that, while we're getting PC in here, how about I talk to live chat for a few while we get her in. So how you doing? How you doing, live chat?
Look at that. He's talking right at you. This is it's so intimate. Just hanging
My
out.
favorite thing, you know that. That's like what I've always loved doing. I love interacting with live chat. I don't get to do it enough over on 24/7. I try to as much as I can, but often I'm one of the few who are doing it. His other people are so like sucked into doing research. It's really difficult for them to actually focus on it. But that's always been my favorite thing. I love talking to people. I love getting people fired up and excited and inspired to actually go out and do things. Seems to be something I'm good at. I never really knew I was good at that, but this whole sort of journey has taught me a lot about myself and the things I'm good at doing and I've discovered a lot of different passions and things that really inspire me, and found a calling in life, I think. So it's been pretty incredible, and I have you all to thank for that, by the way. So you are all why I do what I do. So thank all of you.
I think it's great. I think the whole Q movement has just opened everybody's eyes to so many things.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? I'm here. Hi.
Deborah wants to know when I'm running for political office. I don't know if she wants me doing that.
Okay, so let's get Radix and PC in on this discussion. Let us discuss the tinfoil hat, the purpose, why it is what it is, and where it's going to be going, and what kind of topics we'll cover, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it to PC to start this out.
Someone asked, "Where's the little Ree?" She's
Yeah,
in bed.
people want to know where the little one is. She's sleeping right now.
Do you guys know what PC looks like? You have the chance to see PC.
Hi, guys. I'm here.
By the way, PC.
I look just like my little icon.
PC and I have been in this together since like day freaking one, man. Like, dude, PC.
Yeah, we have.
We've been buddies for a long time.
Yeah, we have.
Crazy. Feels like forever now.
I know it's been. What's it been? October, November, December, January, February, March now? 6 months?
7 foot tall.
What, hon? Go. Say
I
again.
was just saying, someone said they thought you'd be like 7 foot tall. You're almost 7
Close.
foot tall.
Almost there. I'm
Tinfoil
about
hat, guys. Keep on track. Tinfoil hat.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the show that we were planning on creating in the future, and that's going to be Tinfoil Hat Hour, basically, where we're going to be able to talk about anything and everything under the sun, all those topics that people consider conspiracy theories and offhand topics you're not supposed to talk about in polite company, just to kind of show people that it's okay to talk about whatever you want to talk about, even those crazy tinfoil hat topics.
We're getting a request to introduce ourselves again. So for people still joining or like just joining us, I'm Pamphlet. That's my wife, Mrs. Pamphlet, or Radix Ferrum, as you might know her. You all?
I'm PC. Hi, PC.
Crop duster.
Sorry. Yeah, so I'm Brainstorm. I'm the creepy guy in the dark smoking the cigarette.
You're always that guy.
Yeah. I mean, nicotine, they don't ever tell you the good news about nicotine. It actually helps fuel your brain cells, makes your neurons fire faster.
Executive decision. It increases the speed of your executive decision making, which is interesting because I smoke them like a fiend.
So anyway,
back to tinfoil hat.
The tinfoil hat thing. This is the point: is that we are under the weight of a conspiracy. I mean, the conspiracy about conspiracies, even discussing conspiracies, it's a conspiracy. How about that? It's a meta conspiracy that we cannot discuss things that they don't want us talking about. Why? Because it's true. Because there really are bad guys in the world that are trying to do something bad to you. And they're trying to take control. Yes, is it so surprising that there are bad guys in the world that are conspiring behind the scenes to take over the world? Is that really so surprising? And is it crazy to think that this is happening? I don't think so. I think it's crazy not to think it's happening. But
I agree. I think that this is also kind of to be able to show people that you can talk about anything you want to talk about, even though people may not want to hear it. And no, we don't know the ultimate truth unless we've been there. So I think discussing stuff that you're not necessarily sure of the absolute truth is totally fine. It should be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, used to people would philosophize, people would think, they would question, and there wasn't a stigma necessarily tied to it. I think that's the problem now, is the stigma.
Exactly. Kill the stigma.
Exactly. And I think the more people get used to seeing regular people just discuss openly and just sharing ideas of these different conspiracy tinfoil hat theories and stuff, then it'll make it a little bit more acceptable and easy for other people to do it too. And to see that we don't have to agree. We don't even have to know for sure if what we think is true. But it's okay to talk about it.
See, I mean, there's so many things. There's so many reasons to do this, because like on the one hand, they label you as crazy if you just fail to conform to their narration, whatever their story is that they want to push, if you question it in the least, then you're a crazy conspiracy theorist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Even though they have some, all this like Trump Russia collusion crap that they push. How is that not conspiracy theory? What the hell? But meanwhile,
well, I was saying before that any group of people that get together in a non-public way and make a plan, that's a conspiracy. So if any of us were on any sort of Facebook group during the election and talking about who we wanted to vote for, that was a conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Isn't it more than one conspiring together, or something to that effect?
Two people, that's all you need.
Nefarious ends, and that's what they're doing. They're conspiring to nefarious ends.
And you can look back in history and see that this has happened over and over and over again. Why is this like so hard to accept? I just don't understand that.
I agree with you. It's kind of interesting. For decades, you could see things starting to go downhill. And then over the last, say 8-10 years, things really started getting crazy. Like everything you thought was right was left, and everything you thought was left was right. It got nuts. And you thought you were the only one feeling that. But after this election, you started talking to people, and they felt the same way. A lot more people are waking up, and because they felt that way, they just never said it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I always had like a mind towards the esoteric from when I was like a little kid, and I used to watch what was it, like the Twilight Zone, the X-Files, the Outer Limits when I was like a little girl. So that, I think, when I was a kid, and I just always like was I had like oppositional defiant disorder, so like I have issues with authority figures. So I think that may be why I always question things, and how I started looking into all this stuff was through that aspect. So I was always looking into the tinfoil stuff, and then I see all these connections and stuff, and that's just how I came to it.
Right.
If you don't mind a little sidebar, I see Dead Cat in our chat. Notice him out there, and I have to give him a shout out. Dead Cat, everybody loves them some Dead Cat. We want you as a show.
Dead Cat.
Dead Cat, you're awesome. We want you for a show. You get your own show, whatever you need it to be, but we want you reading the Federalist Papers. We want you teaching our civics lessons. We want you teaching us basic literacy skills, leading by example, and being personally involved with those documents. You are exactly the guy we need for that kind of historical consciousness. We need to revive, the historical knowledge of our society, Western society. Dead Cat, you're the man. We want you.
Hey, could you call that show the Dead Cat Bounce?
Yeah.
Dead Cat Bounce. It's a whole new like dance and stuff. It's like
Dead cat never sleeps.
I got to tell you guys real quick one thing, and that's that every one of you that's here, and even Pamphlet who stepped away, I hear the best things about you guys. And it's not when you're around, but everybody loves us. I think it's great because what I think it is that we can disagree, and we can have all these different abilities and areas that we cover, but we all come together in such a beautiful way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, PC and I have been talking about like the Anunnaki and stuff and all this crazy stuff since like we started on the Discord months ago.
Long time ago. By the way, look, we got more. We go through coffee like no other, folks. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and by the way,
the show's name what it is.
I challenge you to a coffee contest.
You better watch what you're saying there.
Oh, I drink coffee all day long. That's my favorite.
By the way, Miss Radix, your shows about the esoteric, if you will, were awesome. I really enjoyed those.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, the one where was I on that one?
I think we should have what's his name, Gran Torino, just to have like just a brief little thing where we do like a voiceover him during the intro for the Dead Cat hour. So Dead Cat and Proud, Dead Cat, in the thick Irish accent, Dead Cat and Proud. might even do it for the tinfoil hat and proud. How about that?
Yeah, I love Gran Torino. We need him on more.
He's going to be on Saturday morning. He's going to have Dr. Corsi and what was the other guy? Charles Ortel. He's going to be doing a show on his channel. We're going to mirror it here on this channel too. So we're doing some. He wants to take on some local politicians there in Ireland, and so we got to support those guys doing their thing. We're going to try to incorporate the Euro people too.
Right.
We have to. This is more than just mega. I mean, even though we're all about mega, but we have to.
We're all about the mega too.
The mega, but we have to be worldwide.
Yeah,
that's what's so great about the thing too. It started out with us, on the different Chan boards, connecting with each other, and as it was evolving, we were learning that it's worldwide. This is going to go. This is a great awakening for the whole world. So, any topics we discuss are going to be helpful for everybody, not just America. We're not trying to just be isolationist here. I mean, granted, the civics lessons, of course, would be, but all the other stuff is going to be great for everybody.
The chat there, Earth Garden Living says Gran Torino had me at hello. I love how American women love those Euro accents.
You get Hagen on, he's great too. Or Hagen.
PC, even on IBOR, we have people over there right now that are Canadian and from the Netherlands that are helping us try to write this because they know that it can shift the paradigm in their country. It's awesome. It really is.
It is amazing. I've been seeing so many people from all over the world, to be honest, and there's certain avenues they can't communicate with us because of censorship, but they find us somehow and they get through. And I think it's wonderful that we're all helping each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need to get back into this tinfoil hat thing. I want to know about, because the idea here with this whole, it is actually related to the censorship issue because they are censoring our thoughts. They've actually found a way to weasel their way into our minds to tell us what we're allowed to think about. Yeah. We're afraid to think about certain topics just because, you get the label a conspiracy theorist or tinfoil hat guy or whatever. Yeah. We're so afraid of those labels that they have found a way to make it so we're not even in charge of our own minds. Just think about that.
Self-censorship, absolutely.
Yeah, self-censorship, and then they use the community, like they turn the community against against itself, right? Mm-hmm. And that way, like you're always, I'm terrible, like articulating things, you guys, my God, I sound retarded. But like, yeah, like they make you worry that you're going to be like made fun of and stuff.
Well, we noticed that phenomena when, not saying that the polls weren't totally rigged in the first place, but whenever people were asked, who are you voting for? A lot of people said, oh, Hillary, because they didn't want to deal with the backlash.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now me, I'm bold and have no shame. So I told people, and actually I've got people in my family that asked me who don't live near me or anything. They're like, what happened to you? You've been tuning into Alex Jones, or is it because you live in a red state? What happened?
A lot of that's changing too. Cause I remember before the election, you couldn't even have a Donald Trump bumper sticker on your car. And it was like kind of known that your car was going to get keyed or something was going to happen. And I see that turning around though. I see people with the stickers on, big decals on the back. It just blows me away. So that it's slowly, but it's surely it's changing. So, and I'm glad to see that too.
I look forward to a time when everybody's opinions or identities or whatever are valid. And that just because, for example, you fall into the one category, like nowadays we would say, let's say you're LGBT. Well, based on that category alone, we're going to judge all these other aspects of your personality just based on that one thing. Mm-hmm. So if you say, for example, you're a Republican, well, then you obviously love guns and, all these other things. And that's not true. Everybody's an individual. And I think that these shows are going to do a great way to kind of showing people that we can be individuals and still come together.
I think that's something that is both an asset and a total detriment to the right in general. It's just the fact that we are all individuals and we all have our own way of looking at issues. We all have our own individual takes on a lot of hot button issues. Most of us agree in general on most things, but we differentiate with a lot of these things, and that's totally different from the folks on the left. they walk in lockstep, like goose stepping.
Talk about herd mind, man. Oh my God, the group think is terrible on the left.
They just don't tolerate any dissent or any sort of different views. I mean, if anyone among the left dares to suggest that abortion is a terrible thing and ought to be illegal, they get ostracized, and often worse than that. And that's something you just don't see on the right. We tolerate, in general anyway, our each other's views, and we don't hound each other over different opinions on certain issues.
Right. I wonder too how much of that is instilled in us and created by them.
It works for us and it works against us. I think it's part of what makes us, all of us, great as a whole, as a group. But it's also when we're fighting something like the hard left, it can work to our detriment in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So I don't know about all of you, but I was raised with the idea that we all have the right to our own opinions. Somehow the left doesn't believe that.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right.
You'd be surprised. I think that the judgment the left has of the right is very similar to the way the right looks at the left. They're not one big unified group either. It just looks like that because that's what the media portrays them as. Or when you go on social media, the ones we wind up interacting with are the ones that are hateful. But they're not all like that.
They play identity politics, and I think that's going to be their downfall because they're going to eat their own. I mean, it's proven that they do. When this Dave Hogg, I guess, was coming out on CNN after the Florida shootings, and he's just blowing up Twitter nonstop. And I just kept asking myself, why don't somebody ask him what his stance is, if he's pro-life or pro-choice? Because the way I see it, if you're out there and you're trying to fight for gun rights and people that die, at the same time, you can't be pro-choice and kill babies before they even have a chance to breathe. But he never responded to my Twitter or my tweet to him, and you just can't confront him on that. But I mean, I don't see how you can have it both ways. If you're for life, regardless, then you got to be for life. So I think their identity politics is gonna catch up to them.
Well, I could be the voice for the former Democrats, because I'm not going to say I'm a Democrat anymore because of the label that happened with it. But for all my life, I was very much liberal leaning. And there have always been issues like, for example, the abortion debate. Well, when they say the term pro-choice, that means you get to choose to keep your baby. Like for me, I chose to keep my baby, even though many of my family were like, oh, you should get rid of it. You're homeless, you're whatever. I'm like, no, this is going to be my child. So I couldn't understand why we keep saying choice, but why don't I get respected for my choice? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you get also crapped on if you're a stay-at-home mom.
Yep.
Well, if you stay home or if you leave your kids at a daycare and have to go work, there's no winning.
Look at how they've invaded our children in the schools. I mean, they have them out there laying down, doing a protest here and there, laying down on the ground as if they're dead. I mean, those are politicians that are taking these children, and I don't think they really personally care about them. And they're using them to make a statement. And it's powerful what they're doing, but they're also getting the children in the schools and, passing laws to where they don't even have to consult with their parents to go and have an abortion. Then they sneak them in there, and we've seen the footage. I mean, you can see the tapes and stuff where they're coaching them into what to do and telling them that, being a single mother now, if you have a child, you don't have the fair chance like everybody else. And come on, that's not right. There's a different approach to it. If that's the case, then we need to make sure that the woman that does have a child has maternal leave or we support her in different ways, not just tell them that they're not going to be successful if they have a child.
It's an entire societal problem. You're right. If we had a society that made it so that if you have a child, you get assistance, not financial, not welfare, but support, community support of parenting skills, how to budget, whatever it is you need, then people would be less likely to feel that they need to abort.
Yeah. And I don't mean to rant, guys. I'm just passionate about that. And my religion I was raised to respect life in general.
Right. And when did it become okay to have like third trimester abortions? Like, I don't remember any debate about this.
No, it's sad.
Yes, it
That's disgusting.
There are instances where the life of the mother or the baby is at risk and they don't find out until the third month. And those cases, I think, should be the exception. because no mother should be forced to carry a dead baby. That's my belief, because I've been through that.
Who was it on the news just today or yesterday that said, had she known that there was a test to test for Down syndrome, that she would have aborted her child? And then now they're saying something about if you have twins, you can pretty much decide which one you want and get rid of the other. I mean, just that conversation altogether just blows me away.
This is sick.
Yeah.
That is so sickening.
Yeah. How do you decide? Oh, well, I think I'll take that child and leave another to die. That's just unbelievable. You know, it's kind of like you were talking about how the societal changes, like that article that came out with Ruth Bader that Q pointed out, you know, with the whole thing about going down to 12 years old for legal consent for sexual contact. And I'm like, who the frick even thinks like this? You know, it just makes no sense to me.
Well, we have a crazy Supreme Court judge that seems to think 12 years old is good enough to be legal. So
I know. It just blows me away. Absolutely. That's what I was
from Hawaii out there. Isn't the age of consent in Hawaii something like 13 or 14? Or did that
Really?
change recently? Yeah, it is, if I remember right.
Oh my
gosh.
That's horrible.
Wow, that is. And to me, that's just like what they're basically trying to do in the schools right now by teaching sex ed, gender fluidity, things like that, all the way down to like 5 years old.
Sexualizing
I mean, that's
at a young age.
Yeah, that's sexual abuse for a child, I think, personally.
It's one of the many lists, one of the many items in their list of things to do to completely control the country. And that was one of them, was sexualize the children, get them interested in sex young.
And that's the thing. They don't hide their plan. It's out there. If you want to know what their plan is, all you got to do is look it up. It is out there. I mean,
they tell you, yeah.
I guess it's just hard if you're a sane person to think like that. You know what I mean? That's why we don't catch some of this stuff sometimes, is because we're not insidious like that. We're not twisted and sick, I guess.
Yeah, I like to be the voice of kind of compassion for the people who've been deluded, and it's not their fault. I mean, if you're told time and time in all your life that this is the way it is and this is the best choice for whatever belief it is, then it's going to be really hard for you to, you know, come back from that and not still really be staunch in your beliefs. So it's going to be a growing pains for a lot of people.
Well, especially also for people that have seen this drastic change over the last decade or so, or, you know, but especially the last decade, and doing things that I could never have even imagined that we could do in this country.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and like with what we were talking about, you know, I've got a daughter that's about to graduate before too long, and all she's ever known is this weird, really PC, you know, awkward culture that we're talking about. And they're coming to age to vote. They're coming to age to begin to think about, you know, maybe a political career and holding higher offices and such. And it's a very scary situation because we know a lot of the parents out there aren't parenting.
Which kind of gets me back to the topic of the shows that we're planning on. That might be one of them, would be families and relationships, you know, things that center around, you know, family life and men and women in general. Nothing too touchy, but my background is I used to teach parenting classes. So I would love to be able to help people be able to have more parenting tips, you know, because we're not born knowing how to be parents. Most of us just know what we don't want to do to our kids.
Right. And then you just do the best with what you
And then if you don't have an option of what to do with them, you're stuck with what you remember from your own parents. So I've had lots and lots of years being able to show people I'm not saying I'm the queen of parenting, but I got a great big hat full of tricks that pull one out. Maybe it might work for you, you know? Ways to not break your kids.
Well, no doubt, because I know I didn't get an owner's manual when my daughter was born, you know, so it's tough.
I used to joke that our toaster comes with better instructions than our kid does.
Yeah.
It definitely requires patience, so I give you that.
Yeah.
So just to let you know, I mean, we were talking about the, well, before the Internet Bill of Rights, which is immediately preceded this show stuff, we were talking originally about the Reddit thing and the subreddit. It was Reddit. They screwed us up. I mean, they canceled our account as a subreddit, and so now I suppose we can go on Vote, but I would recommend everybody get on Gab as a way to circle our wagons. Make sure that we get on a platform that doesn't shadow ban us and stuff like that. So I would recommend there. We can, in the long term, I want to look into Steemit also. Steemit has some definite promise in that regard. But
I'm on Steemit.
Well, yeah. So the big
I'm
challenge with Steemit,
yeah. You guys know
the big challenge with Steemit is it takes so long to get approved for, it's just, that's the real thing that, but the Gab thing, they've been working really hard on getting their video stuff done within the past week, and over the course of the next month, it should develop even more. But then we moved on to the Internet Bill of Rights, and we got some people in here that are talking about the Internet Bill of Rights and the types of challenges that they're facing there and what kinds of things are involved with that kind of development. And then we started talking about our show ideas. One of which, probably a really popular one, is going to be this tinfoil hat with PC and Radix.
Why don't we discuss what else might be coming down the pipe? We've only really discussed one show.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
That's why they gave that shout out to Dead Cat, and I'm not joking about this. I want Dead Cat to have a show where he's reading to us from stuff like the Federalist Papers. I want him to be our voice in terms of civic responsibility. I want him to lead by example what it means to have civic responsibility. So to be informed about historical documents that are pivotal to our Western society. So reading through that stuff, and also it's simultaneously showing us that it is cool to be literate. Read, damn it, read.
I have a question. Are we able to get any of that information back from Reddit?
I don't know.
There are sites out there that archive Reddit automatically. You can go back. Yeah, I don't know them off the top of my head. I expect some people in live chat will know. Yeah, there are a number of sites out there that actually archive everything on Reddit.
See, now if we had this Bill of Rights, it wouldn't be a problem.
Yep. Well, all these sites were started specifically because of Reddit censorship, and but not just Reddit censorship, but censorship within specific subreddits. Reddit's removing posts, deleting posts. So, that's why a number of them were started. So we do have all that information saved on one of those somewhere.
But if we had the Bill of Rights, that we wouldn't need those other platforms to get our data back.
Yep.
I will say this about Vote. It's not necessarily very regular person friendly.
So Radix friendly.
It's a sort of in between Reddit and
there's definitely a certain culture on Vote, and there's a little bit of that same sort of culture present on Gab. So be selective about who you follow, and you're fine, because your experience is entirely determined by who you decide to follow. So just follow people that are the same stuff as you are, and you're good. But we should talk about more of these shows that we want to develop. I mean, outside of the tinfoil hat and Dead Cat Bounce, or whatever we're going to call that show. What else are we going to do?
I love that.
The Euro show. We got the Euro show with Gran Torino and Hagen, and hopefully Resignation and on.
Can barely hear you, dude.
Oh, sorry, I backed up. I'm
I don't know what that was.
shifting around in my chair.
What is that?
It's not me.
So, yeah, somebody's got a dog going crazy.
Oh, that's my dog, guys. Sorry about that. She's doing her job, though, I'll tell you that much.
So what else we got for
a
shows,
bed
though?
intruder on the way?
I did hear a suggestion about a show on Sunday mornings where it would be kind of a real, not deep, but a lighthearted, catch-all religious kind of a thing.
I think there's probably room for a couple of religious shows,
That's
a couple
true.
different angles.
But I meant for Sunday mornings to not be so conspiratorial, just more kind of like showing the similarities between all the religions and the positives.
Maybe Saturday night do the conspiratorial, and then Sunday do that.
Actually, that's what we're planning. Yeah.
Oh, right on. Right on.
From MB at Mrs. Pam, what's the difference between the bakery not baking a cake for a gay and YouTube and the others?
For
the
gay.
bakery was forced to bake the cake, right?
For a gay.
But actually, that was one of the things I brought up when we were discussing the Internet Bill of Rights is unintended consequences and the FCC equal rights rules and regulations, international law. These are all things that need to be thought about before we did this. And I mean, everybody talked about what they thought would be good. You have to actually read the Internet Bill of Rights. So maybe you could do that, the one that we put up in Discord, and see what you think. And if you want to contribute something, go ahead. But I think the most important thing is to make it so that we have like our country's jurisdiction, like America would have its own Bill of Rights and other countries would have their own, because we don't want it to be an international thing.
Well, no, we do want it to. We want this to be international. I mean, this has to go worldwide, or there's not going to be a free internet.
But don't we want them to have their own?
But there's no way for us to legislate that here in the U.S. We can't legislate an international Bill of Rights.
I think they could take ours and adjust it to fit their country.
Right.
I think it's a whole different situation over.
We had discussed this quite a few times, and what I was suggesting is something to look forward to. Is we have Starlinks with Elon Musk and Falcon 9 rockets, SpaceX shooting up the. It's basically going to be your internet too, a whole new internet via satellites. And I mean, he's already got like 2 loads that he shot up there of satellites. I think it's a total of like almost a little under 20. And he's shooting for the next 1.5 to 2 years, and that system should be operational. So that might be a golden opportunity for us to establish international laws, being that we own that system, the backbone, the structure that is going to be supporting it. So just something to think about that way.
Yeah,
Well, that's like
breaking up the monopolies, the fact that they stole intellectual property to create like Facebook and stuff. The social media stuff was stolen from Leader Technology. So there's the issue of monopolies as well.
Yep.
But anyways, we should go back on topic to the shows that we're going to do. Sorry, I know.
This is not meandering hour. We're just meandering all which way.
I am terrible with that.
So, yes. So what other shows we got? We got the Euro show, right? Gran Torino. We got to cover that.
That's going to be a big one. That's going to be a big one. I think that's going to be a great hit, because like you mentioned earlier, Brain, this is far from just about America, and the storm is on its way or already over Europe right now, and we need to make sure that we're giving coverage to all the issues that matter over there, because what matters to them really matters to us in the end. Anything that's going on over there can easily happen over here, and vice versa.
I want the Aussies to have a show too. I mean, if we can get some Aussies in here, I really love to get to see their perspectives.
Yeah. So eventually, we'll have the Euro show going. I would like that to be Monday through Friday, every day for an hour or 2. That's one. We have ideally a military show run by veterans. That's another one that I think we've been tossing about.
The one for the women folk.
What's that?
Don't forget the women folk. We got one for the women folk.
Yes. Oh, you all. I'm sure you all know and love The View with Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg. I know we have some guilty View fans out there, don't we? No.
No.
I doubt it. But anyway, concept is essentially ripping off The View and making it not The View, like way better.
Yeah, make it cool.
Just like a ladies show.
Not full of leftist SJW nonsense. Actually being a real women's talk show. Not
real women
pushing leftist ideology all over the place.
I want to see real women. Thank you very much.
What's that?
I want to see real women, like actual women. People with that actually are women and aren't ashamed of being women.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got a great group of women too that are
Chris Brooks.
Going.
I like that.
We got a great group of women.
A Better View.
Oh,
that's awesome! I love it. That is great.
Sorry.
See, that's what we need you guys for. You're my brainstormers out there.
That is wonderful. Or how about the 40,000-foot view?
I like it.
I don't know. I like A Better View though. I think that might be it.
I think the 40,000-foot view would be space.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. So we're gonna do that. I think. What time slot does The View fall into, folks out there? I don't watch The View, so I wouldn't.
Oh goodness! I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Somewhere around
we
like
know,
11
we
o'clock.
know that pamphlets are regular there.
We think.
Pamphlet
You'll have
watches
to
it all the
consult
time.
the
He's
TV
just
guy.
trying to pretend.
Yeah, I'm covering. Guilty pleasure. What can I say? I like watching Joy Behar make a fool of herself. But yeah, we'll probably shoot for around the same time frame with that. And we're how many do they have on the views? It's like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People on there. We're gonna have wonderful people on there.
I think it's usually like 4 or 5, and then they have a guest. Okay, you know what I mean? Kind of sit in the midst of that.
I would like to have maybe four women folk, and then maybe have them bring on a male guest every time, drawing from the pool of other people who are on other shows.
That's like the Outnumbered, isn't it? That show,
right?
Yes.
Exactly. So yeah, that's another one I think is by the way going to be really successful. We have a lot of viewers on the 24/7 network that are stay-at-home mothers and retired grandmothers that kind of show would be right up their alley. I know they would love that. So that's a big priority for me personally. I really want to get that one done and get it started. What else we have, Brain? There's so many.
Oh well, yeah, there's a ton more of ideas circulating right now, and like weekends we got general themes like so